What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Hockey Town University. We're back. Sorry for the wait. You're with me once again, one of your hosts, Zach, and with his two beautiful co-hosts, Matt and Derek. What's up, boys? Welcome back.
It's good to be back, boys. Oh my god, it's hot outside. Has anyone gone outside? Because I tried to stop because my skin's burning. I don't like it. Help.
I jump roped at 4 p.m. outside. Worst decision I ever made in my life, for sure.
Well, I have good news for both of you because tomorrow it's going to be like 92. So, this will kind of feel like our winter break compared to 92. So, yeah, I imagine if you go outside, you're going to have your shoes melting into the pavement and you're just going to get stuck there. So, I'm going to just try not to go outside. But I do have exciting news tomorrow. Or I guess right now. Tomorrow, is my dad's last treatment for his tumor. So I am very happy
buddy.
about that.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna go there with him. We're gonna see him ring the bell, and yeah, we're all really excited about that. It's definitely been a pretty long journey. I mean, it actually kind of feels like it flew by because he just went to so many treatments, but it's definitely been a long journey. But it's nice to see the finish line, finally have that in view. So that's pretty cool. And as for me, I really haven't been doing all that much ever since we met. I've just been trying to enjoy the summer, on the days where my skin isn't melting off my body. So that's been nice. I've been playing Puck Doku every day. Just a fantastic game in the off-season. You guys really need to give that a try if you haven't already. And I'm just excited to be back, and I am ready to get rolling again.
Well, welcome back, boys. Why don't we just go ahead and jump right into it? But yeah, once again, sorry for the wait. Yeah, summertime, just like Matt said. We all got stuff that we want to do, have a little fun, take a little break, and we're glad to be back. More than likely, one episode per week, but we're trying to keep up on the community tab. So if you guys haven't gone and voted, or at least checked it out in a while, go ahead and do that. And while you're at it, thanks for stopping by once again if you are returning. If you are new, we appreciate you for stopping by. But make sure that you're hitting that subscribe button and then smashing the like button. The frown goes upside down. Right, Derek?
There you go.
Exactly. We like it. All right. So, yeah, let's jump into things. What do we got today? Well, minimal Red Wings news. It's summertime. Not really much to go over ever since the Alex DeBrincat signing trade saga. So, woo! Let's go. Other than that, yeah, Red Wings news, around the league news. There's a lot of around the league news, but we'll touch on some of the spicy ones that have happened more recently. And then a couple segments of Let's Play a Game, where we'll talk about Seider and Raymond, and you guys already know exactly what we're talking about. It's in the title already, as you guys are watching this. So, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, Red Wings news. Derek was nice enough to find an article from Octopus Thrower that was, oh boy, I should have had already this pulled up. Let's see. I want to give the person credit, whoever wrote it. So from Octopus Thrower, Jordan Orth from 2 days ago, as we record Thursday evening at 6:30 p.m. The annual Traverse City Prospects Tournament for the Detroit Red Wings has been announced to start September 14th. So for those of you that are interested in going, that's the date, hopefully. I want to try and go. I don't know about you boys, but I would like it if you guys could go. But I know that everyone has stuff still going on. Derek, yeah, you already told us, so might be a little tough for you. But maybe we can get it figured out.
What happens? If I'm going to be sneaky, I might be sneaky.
Yeah, so
6 days.
honestly, going into this, what are the teams that are going to be there? It sounds like that Columbus is going to be there. Derek, you said all the teams in the chat, so why don't you go ahead and take over on this little topic here that we have about the prospect tournament or development camp.
I got you there since I'm staring at it right now.
I just went on a rant there to come back to realize that I was disconnected. I was like, what the fuck?
All right, Derek, let's try this again. What are the 4 teams that are going to be in the prospect tournament with the Detroit Red Wings at Traverse City?
Okay, you should think I should know this one by memory now for it being the third time I've said it. But we got the Columbus Blue Jackets, Toronto Maple Leafs, Dallas Stars, and the Detroit Red Wings playing in the Traverse City Prospect Tournament this year at September 14th. We got a few people coming out that obviously you may know, as the Columbus Blue Jackets had the second round pick. We have Adam Fantilli popping in. But we also got some guys of our own popping up, as in our ninth round pick. Nate Danielson coming down. I should say up at that point, because unless he's in Canada. And a lot of people are saying Axel Pandelica is going to be there, but ASP is most likely going to be over in the Swedish league, because apparently we did some research and Zach let us know that the Swedish league, SHL, starts on September 14th. So it's going to be kind of hard, to play in this tournament while also starting in a different country across the ocean, about 18, 25. I don't know how long it is. I've never been there, but it's really far away. So I don't think that's going to work out too well. But we also got our good goalies showing up. We got Kosa coming in, and Augustine probably most likely going to be the next one behind him popping up. Hopefully we get some good numbers from there. But in all, do you guys have anyone that you're interested in seeing, especially coming up from the Red Wings? Because obviously I just named off the bigger names that we might be seeing there that most recently popped up. But anyone from last year that might make a scene that you think would make a nice appearance for us?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead, Matt?
Well, I think just like, obviously I'm excited to see all of our guys as a Red Wings fan, but I think even larger as just a fan of the NHL in general, I am so damn excited to see Adam Fantilli just ball out. Now, I mean, we are a Red Wings podcast. We want all the best for our prospects and the team. I would not be shocked if Adam Fantilli averages a hat trick in this tournament. That kid is an absolute monster. He is probably, this might be a little insane to say, but the Blue Jackets have kind of just been ass for the last 20 years, or ever since they've been around. Adam Fantilli might already be their best player in franchise history, and he hasn't even stepped on the ice yet at the NHL level. So, he's at least in the top 5, if that's not true, which it's not, because that's an insane thing to say. But, yeah, I'm very excited to see him. I am really excited to see Nate Danielson. I kind of feel that maybe now, since he's been picked, a lot of people have kind of cooled down on him. They've kind of more so appreciated his game, but I feel like I'm a truther on him. I really want him to just go out there and shut people up. There was a lot of people who were shocked that he was picked over some other options like Dvorsky, Moore, whoever else was around there. I don't even remember. The draft might as well be 3 months ago. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see Danielson. I don't know where people are getting it from that Sandy and Pelica was going to play in this tournament, because pretty much no one playing in the SHL has ever played in this tournament. If I remember correctly, Casper didn't play in this tournament because he also was going to go to Rogla that season. So I don't know where that came from. I would love to see him, but I guess we'll just have to wait 2 years until he's in the NHL, and he'll be the next Erik Karlsson. I'm saying it right now. But I'm definitely excited to see this tournament. I don't really even know how you go about watching it. Probably have to go to some back channel illegal website to watch it, because that's just how the NHL is. But hopefully we can go up and see it in person. So I'm definitely excited for it.
Yeah, it's funny that you brought up Marco Kasper, because that's the name that I'm going to say if we're going to talk about prospects in the last 2 years that we've drafted, because I know that they throw in some older ones sometimes, and some actual players. I would say Marco Kasper, because like you said, Matt, is that, yeah, we didn't get to see him play in that last season due to the SHL. So that's someone that I'm looking forward to see. Obviously, like Derek said, Nate, or I think Matt, whoever said it, Nate Danielson as well, Sebastian Kosa. I want to see if he can kind of turn it up a little bit and secure that spot with the Griffins instead of being the full-time goaltender over at the Walleye, which that still would be great for him. Trey Augustine, honestly, is someone that I'm really looking forward to see as well. I think that's someone that could honestly, if he just shows out in this tournament and then he goes and has a really big season at MSU, I think he just stays at MSU one more season after that one, and then he makes the jump, whether if that's to the ECHL or to the AHL. Like we said, you always got to have friendly competition, right? Especially amongst the goaltenders. You need those people to keep on pushing each other, right? So hopefully they can build a good relationship during the tournament and great things to come with that. So those are my picks, honestly. I wish ASP would be there, but yeah, like you said, Matt, not too many SHL players get to come and partake in that due to the SHL season starting early. So I think that's pretty much it on that, unless anyone else has anything to say.
I mean, those are pretty much all the people that I was hoping to see too. So hopefully all of them make an appearance. Hey, if ASP wants to make an appearance there as one of the first SHL players to do so, all the power to them. I'll be very happy going to those back channel places to watch them, let me tell you.
I will too.
Well, I did just want to say that.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I wanted to say that you bring up Trey Augustine, and it's kind of ironic that next season I'm going to have a rooting interest in the Spartans hockey team, because now we have both him and Red Savage on there, so
yeah,
I will begrudgingly want them to do well, but it's always go blue forever, because I don't like Little Brother. That's about it.
Go blue. Yes, we are a blue podcast here. Derek, I'm sorry if you're not, but you are now. Okay, well, you should be. Anyways, so let's go.
You're overruled.
If anyone does want a backwoods channel or however you guys said it, let me know. I definitely have one, so let me know in the comment section, and we can figure it out from there, and I can kindly let you, the viewers, know about that. So let's go ahead and jump into other Red Wings news. Not even really news. It's kind of more so just speculation at this point that we really want to talk about. Joe Veleno, still no contract. What's going on with that? And so I for the last couple days, I've even been thinking about it. Is he about to get traded? What are you guys' thoughts on the whole Joe Veleno situation with no contract yet? Is this kind of one of those situations where he's trying to get the biggest bang for his buck? Or is it because Steve Yzerman kind of views him as another Philip Zadina for someone who hasn't completely flourished for the Red Wings ever since being drafted? He's good. I think he's good. I would love to keep him, but is that kind of what we're looking at right now?
Well, to say the least right now, yeah, me and Matt are going back and forth like, who wants to go on this one? It's going to hurt. But like you said, Zach, he hasn't really flourished. What is he, 21?
He's still young.
23.
Yeah,
21, 23. Still young. But his best season came with his first full season in the NHL. 81 games, 20 points this season. I mean, he did great for Canada, let's be honest. 5 goals. Or 5, not goals, sorry. That would have been great too. 5 points in 5 games, but at this rate, he's 1 goal per 4 games, which isn't terrible. Not 1 goal, I keep saying that. 1 point, okay. 1 point every 4 games. Not a terrible record, but at the same time, is that going to help the Red Wings continue to blossom, so to speak, like they're supposed to at this point? We're trying to get past that point where we're the rebuild team, so Zach, you could be right. The fact that Yzerman might be trying to find an area to trade him and get something nice in return to fill that slot, but I can't lie. As a third-line center last year, I think he did pretty well for him. He was the guy that we can call up a little bit if we needed him, and he got, again, 1 point every 4 games. That's basically what we need from a third-line center. Hopefully more so a fourth-line center, but for the Red Wings right now, it's not too bad. But I digress. I don't know what's going to happen. I would love to keep him, but I could definitely see him getting rid of. So, but Matt, how do you feel on this one?
Well, to me, watching Joe Veleno play is just so interesting to me because he seems to make all the right moves, and when he's about to score, well, it's not even really when he's about to score. Like, it just feels like he should score more, and maybe he kind of does have that Philip Zadina syndrome. I don't know what attributes to that, but I have said before on this show that I really feel like he could unlock his potential if he moved to the wing instead of playing center, because I think some players in the NHL, they will struggle at center even though it's something they've played their entire careers up to this point. I feel like you could unlock him a little bit more if you moved him to the wing. and he could just be like a good depth two-way winger. But, I got his stats pulled up right here. Last year was his first full season in the NHL. He had 15 points. If I can get rid of this ad.
I think you're
Okay, this
looking at
ad
the
won't
season
leave.
before
But,
that.
It was like 20 points this
yeah, it
season.
was like 20 points. So, I mean, at this point, he's 23 years old. This is pretty much what he is. I don't really see him getting much better than this. So, the fact he doesn't have a contract yet, maybe it's Steve Eisman looking at him and just being like, hey, kid, I just signed one center last year to a 5-year deal. I just signed a center this year to a 5-year deal in free agency. I have 2 centers that I drafted in the first round in the last 2 years. If you don't shape up, these guys are going to take your job. And I don't really blame Steve Eisman for saying that. I think he has more trade value now than he does being in the lineup. And it's funny you mentioned that. I think we wanted to save this for later, but it kind of relates to this point. Big news in the NHL, Patrice Bergeron just retired. Boston's 1C now with Pavel Zacha. So I imagine they could use another center. Maybe they'll look at trading him. And it doesn't have to be Boston. It could be any other team who needs centers, because it feels like that is always a position of need in the NHL. So the lack of contract could be Steve Eisman's looking to trade him. Maybe it's due to the fact that he's an RFA and there's more team control, so he doesn't have to sign him right away. I don't really know. But I think if Joe Veleno is going to get signed, it's definitely going to be a prove-it deal. Maybe like only a 1 or a 2 year contract. And if at the end of that he's not shaping up, I would not expect him in Detroit again.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything that you guys said. I think for me, let's talk about Joe Veleno as a player. A center, a two-way center, a 200-foot center. And it's weird to say that because, right, he's not Dylan Larkin. But he does everything correct that Dylan Larkin technically does, just not as point production. I don't even know what the word I want to use is. But yeah, he just doesn't put up the points, right? So he's not a game breaker, but he's someone that you can use on the PK, maybe sparingly some power play minutes if you need a center out there. But just like you guys said, not only did he sign a center last year in Andrew Kopp, but then he went out and got JT Compher. Now, obviously, both of those players can play on the wing. But then you look at Nate Danielson and Marco Kasper drafted as centers. Yeah, that's a tough spot for Veleno to be in. But remembering the way that he was playing with Giannis and Bergeron towards the end of this past season, they looked really good together. I mean, Joe Veleno looked like that he really wanted to stick around and kind of move up in the lineup when we had all those injuries and nothing else really going for the team other than hopefully we can drop down in a couple spots in the standings. Thanks a lot to Derek's favorite player. What was his name? That was always in the net front and scoring all those goals. Now I already forgot his name. What was his name?
Jason?
Yeah, Alex Jason.
Was it
Yeah,
Jason?
there we go. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I was like, who are you talking about? Oh, yeah. I love potatoes. I love that guy. Peel them off the couch to get him out there.
I'm
Woo!
still willing to give him that 8x8 if he's still sitting on that couch right now as we speak. But no, I mean and then just Joe Veleno, I think he plays a sound game, but yeah, he is the odd man out looking in now at this point. Granted, with him not signed right now, the Red Wings technically have 11 forwards at their disposal that they can use, right? And that's not including Marco Kasper because they still have him technically down for the AHL on the roster for cap friendly, at least that's how it shows. So if you had to pick between Joe Veleno and Marco Kasper is clearly the better player at this point.
Not a hard choice.
It's not a hard choice, correct. However, the only issue that I see with that is that are you going to put Marco Kasper as the 4C? No, you're not going to do that. So if you're going to Joe Veleno, I don't know what his time on ice was average for last season. If someone can look that up while I'm talking my spiel, that would be great. It's probably anywhere from maybe 10 to 13 minutes averaged per game. I mean, we still need those types of players. Maybe you put Fabry down as the 4C, but I don't see that happening either. It's almost kind of like we're in the same situation as we were last year. We have all these players, and we have absolutely no idea other than the top line where it's going to be Larkin and DeBrincat, maybe Raymond or Perron, or someone else. You know, that spot can be changed, right? So we just don't know what the rest of the lineups are going to look like, so it's tough. But if I were Steve Yzerman, and this is my opinion, I would sign Joe Veleno. I would sign him to a 2-year deal, no more than probably $1.25 million, and just say, okay, we want you to stay. You're center. You're a premium positional player. You play a good 200-foot game, but we don't have any room for you other than the bottom 6. Now, if injuries start to happen, or if you show us that you can be better, maybe there's an opportunity for you to move up. Granted, if injuries do happen, then yes, we're going to have to force you to move up. And then hopefully that comes. But that's another thing that I want to talk about, is that Joe Veleno truly has never had, and I kind of feel bad for him when I say this too, thinking about it, is that other than playing with Jonathan Bergeron a little bit of last season, he hasn't really had any good line mates either.
Oof.
At least from what I can remember.
Buddy.
So
1247 was his average.
How much?
1247.
12:47. Okay, so that's bottom 6
Nothing.
minutes for sure. At best, you know, that's like, he probably got to play third line a little bit, probably got some PK duties. I can't remember if he got power play duties at all. So that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, for me, I'm keeping him. I'm signing him 2 years, maybe $1.25 million. Figure it out for 1 year, and then next year, yeah, if he doesn't shape up a little bit, I mean, this roster is getting crowded, especially with Marco Kasper knocking on the door pretty soon. I don't know what Carter Mazur's going to do. Granted, he's not a center, but that's still another spot. Another forward that I can't really think of right now, but there's a couple other ones that could potentially sneak in there as well. You just never know. Like Derek. Derek can make it in there. Look at him. He's already got the jersey on and everything.
Yeah, he's in playing shape.
Yeah, dust off the skates out of your box in your closet there, buddy.
It's buried pretty deep right now, I'm not gonna lie. There might be a rat living in my bag at this point. I hope not, but
Oh, I'm sure it's dead
Not
based
looking
on
pretty
the
in
smell
there.
of your gear, bro. Oh my goodness. But
Smells
no,
like
and Matt, I did like your take on, you know, Bergeron did just retire. Derek, you said that Marchand said that if he was retiring, then he should retire. Yes, please. I want you to retire, Marchand. Please make my day. But that's a team that definitely could do it. I mean, they're definitely in a cap struggle right now. They could use as many bodies as they can. Pavel Zacha being their #1 center. I mean, we've technically seen worse. I mean, look at the 2Cs we've had in our previous roster lineups, you know? So they still at least have Marchand. They still have Pasternak. So I don't think center truly is their biggest worry at the moment, because they have the wingers that could suffice it a little bit and take charge of those lines. But I definitely see a reality where Boston would be interested in a player like Joe Veleno, especially if Yzerman can either trade him while he's still RFA status, or you sign him to a cheap contract, wait until the start of the season, and if someone outbeats him, like a Marco Kasper, and then you give Marco Kasper the 3C, or if you put him on the wing, then that's when you can ship Joe Veleno off. So I guess I'm kind of going back and forth, like, do I want him? Do I don't want him? Like, what's going on? I don't think it's Steve Yzerman just, like, pushing him away and giving him the Zadina treatment, because Yzerman didn't really do anything to Zadina. It all came down on Zadina, right? So, and it's the same thing with Joe Veleno. Joe Veleno just needs to show that he belongs being a Red Wing and start putting up. If he can put up 30 plus points, I think that's a successful season, especially for a bottom 6 center. But you have to give him good quality line mates as well. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. But I would love to hear from you, the viewers. Let us know in the comments if Joe Veleno is someone that you guys are willing to keep, and if so, for how long and how much. If not, what would you like to get for a Joe Veleno? You're definitely not going to get a first-round pick for Joe Veleno, much like we drafted him. So
I want McDavid for Veleno.
we'll give him
I
Sherratt,
second the motion.
Veleno for McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah.
Done.
Now you're talking my language.
Hey, you
Now
guys.
you're talking my language.
Who's Edmonton's GM?
That's right. He is known to do very dumb things. So, honestly, we're joking, but you never know. You never really know.
Hey, Holland drafted him for a
that
reason, too.
McDavid contract's pretty hefty.
Yeah, it is.
did. He's loyal to his
Alright.
boys.
So, enough about Joe Veleno then, I think. So let's go ahead and talk about a little bit around the league news. So we already touched on Bergeron retiring. Derek did make a funny saying that Marchand should retire because that's what he said back in April. That I'll retire if Bergeron doesn't come back. So I'm patiently waiting, Marchand. I know you're listening and watching us right now. Go sit on your couch for the rest of your life.
Become that potato that we need you to be. You rat. Oh.
Oh,
Veleno,
Hated you for years. You'll retire.
should we
Be
start the
happy with your
rumor?
millions.
Start the rumor. Veleno for Marchand.
we are the rumor boys.
I don't
I'll
I don't want it. I can't. You can't do that to me after I've ripped on him for so long.
Yeah,
Did
man,
you
I
throw him
do.
on our team? Really?
No, you know what? How about this? Here's a better deal. We do Veleno, and then we throw in their first round pick that they traded us for Bertuzzi. So they just get that first round pick back. It's like it never even happened, and we just get Marchand, who was going to leave anyways. I think that's a genius deal.
And that saves Boston some cap a little bit too, since they kind of need it. And it probably doesn't get it done, but I like where your head's at. Yeah, I would definitely do that in a heartbeat. That's how you know it's a bad trade, when you're like,
Okay,
yes, I'll do that.
fine. They can throw in Swayman too. That's fine.
All right, yeah, all right, fair deal. They're jumping on that real quick.
Yeah, that sounds much better.
In other around the league news, there's not really much, but I kind of just wanted to throw it out there because this literally just dropped today. Alex Galchenyuk, for those of you that don't know, Alex Galchenyuk had a little issue with some police officers and made some bad choices and said some bad words, and yeah, he's it doesn't seem like he's doing too well. Literally 2 weeks after signing his contract with Arizona, he gets terminated. I'm pretty sure he went to jail for drinking, saying some things, doing some things, and now he's getting sued by a Canadian bank for $400,000. Actually, I don't know if that's how much he's getting sued for, or if that was the loan amount that he took out. But imagine you're a professional hockey player and you're taking out a loan. Granted, it was back in the early 2010s, but he was already in the league and he was making more than that. So what is going on with Alex Galchenyuk, a former 3rd overall pick? What's in the Arizona air? Or is there something more that we just don't know about Alex Galchenyuk? Like, granted, we are Red Wings fans first and foremost, but like, this isn't normal, right?
People will do anything to get out of playing for Arizona, won't they? Boy, oh boy.
He definitely got out of there. That's for sure.
He doesn't
Man.
want to go play in the moon, dude. He's like, nah, I ain't going to space.
Why not? That sounds awesome, dude. I'd love to play on the moon. Just have Elon Musk as my owner. Get a rocket ship every day. I'd
go to
love that.
jail
That'd be
before I
amazing.
went to the moon, dude. Like, imagine.
Well, he's gonna be playing on the hockey team for a Mean Machine for the longest yard.
I mean,
that's what
let's
he's
be
gonna
honest.
playing
As long
on
as they
now.
have a Starbucks on the moon, I'll go up there and play. Don't worry.
Starbucks. Okay. So yeah, what's
And a Taco Bell. Shut up. I need that.
Taco Bell.
Yeah,
Okay, Taco
no,
Bell.
that too, especially that.
All right.
I'll
So what's going on with Alex Galchenyuk here? Is he just now in the looney bin officially, or is this because he willingly put himself in the player assistance program? So good for him. Honestly, I will give credit to him for that. When you recognize that you have a problem, that's a good first step to taking action, right? To resolving whatever demons that you have going on in your body. So, and we all know that we all have demons living in our body. What's
Not me. I
you're
got
all
mine out.
delinquents. Okay, as Derek's doing that. Okay, yeah, demons in your body, bud. All right. So,
I mean,
so let's hear from you guys. What do you guys think about the Alex Galchenyuk situation? Do you guys actually think that he's going to be back in the NHL one day, or do you think this is kind of done and over with now at this point? Because saying what he said to the cops is no bueno.
yeah, there's no chance he's gonna be back in the NHL. I mean, excuse me. Before this, he was barely even in the NHL. I mean, this was what, like his 8th team in the last 6 seasons. I don't
Something
even
like
really
that.
know. But yeah, he's been bouncing around and around. And, you know, I do feel for the guy. I don't know what happened with him. Don't know if he's gotten any other demons or issues that he's trying to work with, but it's definitely good to see that he's in the assistance program. You know, some guys, when they go into that and they get out, they make a little bit of a resurgence. I remember when we had Bobby Ryan on the team after he got out of that program, and, you know, he had like kind of a mini comeback that season, but I don't think he's anywhere in the NHL now, and I don't even know if he's still playing hockey, but, you know, he had a little bit of a career after that, and, you know, not to reopen old wounds, but Verana did go in the assistance program, went over to St. Louis and scored, like, I don't even know, 7 goals to end the season. So I do hope he can bounce back. I really, personally, I don't think he will. It kind of hurts to say that because I am rooting for the guy. I don't think he will. This was realistically his last chance in the NHL, and with this scandal on top of that, no team is going to want to touch him.
I mean, you guys are right, Leslie. I mean, like I've always said, this is exactly why I'm poor. Because I've always said, more money, more problems. Because why
right.
do I need that in my life? Just stay broke forever, and you're just going to die happy at some point. I don't know. I think that's what I got to look forward to at this point. But no, he might make like an AHL level team. Someone might just sign him up to toss him down there just because he still could be a good player. But we just haven't had him in an area long enough to actually see it. Like Leslie said, a crap ton of teams in a very short amount of time. So you never know where he actually fit in. Problems followed him. I mean, with what he said to the cops, like Zach said, yeah, probably not the best thing to say in the world. And I don't know if I really want you on my team unless no one's going to watch you. And you're just going to beat everybody up. I don't know, but not looking good for him at this point. So, you know, all the best to him, but might be the end of his hockey career.
Yeah, honestly, and backtrack to Matt talking about Bobby Ryan. He has not played since leaving the Red Wings. So
That's what I thought.
Because he kind of went off on a little bender. He kind of dropped it a little bit. So hopefully he's kind of getting himself back on track. So same thing with Alex Galchenyuk, though. I kind of do think that this might be done and over with, but I would not be shocked if come closer to playoff time, a playoff contending team says, hey, we need depth. We need you. Here's a minimum contract. What do you say? Just don't get in trouble. Could happen.
Yeah,
We've seen
no
crazier,
team
right?
than that. Even the AHL.
Yeah, who knows? Honestly, it just really all comes down to him and what he decides to do. And if the NHL sees that he's gotten better and he's ready to come back, then so be it. No qualms against Alex Galchenyuk, but just pretty wild what he did. And now he's being sued for quite a bit of money. I'm just really shocked that he has a loan for $400K and just hasn't paid it since 2013 or 12, whenever it was given to him. So here we are, 10 years later. Pay your bills, my dudes. Stop being broke like Derek and pay your bills. Happy life.
I'm broke, but I pay my bills. That's why I'm broke.
That's exactly right. Why do you think we don't have any money? Because it goes to bills.
Inflation.
We don't spend it on cool shit. We spend it on bills.
This is why we started a podcast, right? To make money, not for fun.
Totally. Yeah.
Where's the money at? Like, what money are you talking about? I paid to be on this podcast. Do we forget about this?
Yeah. Next
it's part
quarter,
of the-
all under here.
It's part of the friendship feed that I've been waiting for you guys to pay off since we've been friends in college. So, yeah, thanks for the
I'm gonna be
payment.
a pro. Dude, send me to collections.
I'm pretty sure we all already paid that,
All right,
including you.
So,
You're
I
called
did.
news, buddy.
I did, thank goodness. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. That's it for Around the League news. Let's go ahead and just play a little game. As I said at the beginning of the episode, it's already in the title, so you guys probably know what we're going to talk about. It's about Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond, our golden children on the Detroit Red Wings. So, both Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond will be due for their contract extensions next season for 24-25 season. would you try, if you were Steve Yzerman, would you try and sign them now to their extensions or wait? And then to follow up with that, how much and for how long are you signing them for? Matt, you go first.
Boy, I mean, yeah, if I were Steve Yzerman, I definitely would do it now. But if I'm Raymond and Seider, no way in hell am I going to sign it right now. Those two are going to hope that they pop off next season, and then they're going to be making Sebastian Aho money. But I think as far as the Red Wings go, it honestly makes more sense for the Red Wings to pay these extensions later rather than now, because you get them for a longer window with the team. You know, I'm assuming they're all going to be at least 7 to 8 years. I'd imagine they're probably both 8 years, because we figure that these two are going to be a big part of the future. I really see Raymond being a perennial 70 to 80 point scorer in the NHL, somewhere around 25 to 30 goals every year. Mo Seider, I've said it before, I'll say it again. He could win a Norris. That's not even an insane thing to say. Maybe not, because he actually plays defense now that I think about it, and you're not supposed to play defense if you win a Norris. So, yeah, if they ever make a trophy for the actual best defenseman, he might win that. But that being said, he's a franchise defenseman. He's probably at his ceiling going to score 60 to 70 points in the NHL. I wouldn't be shocked at all. I mean, Raymond's a franchise player too. I think as far as the deals with Raymond, you look at some contracts that have been signed, like Matt Boldy, Cole Caulfield is a good example. Those guys are, I think they're right around 7.5. I think Matt Boldy is actually at 7. I would expect Raymond to be around there. Really, any contract that we talk about in this offseason is going to be skewed by the cap going up. So, who knows? Maybe Yzerman will just bet on his players and say, you know what, I think you are worth this money, and it may seem like a lot now, but the cap will go up, and it will keep going up too. It won't just, go up next year and then stay there. Ideally, it will keep going up. So as these deals age, they'll just look better and better and better. But me personally, I'm not even really concerned about the money. If they're signed for 8 years, I'm happy. That's really all I need to see. I need to see these guys locked up and just have pretty much no doubt that they're going to be Red Wings for at least a good chunk of their career, definitely through their prime. But, yeah, me personally, if I were Steve Yzerman, I don't know. I don't think I'd do it now. I really don't think I'd do it if I were Steve Yzerman. I think I would wait until maybe halfway through the season. I don't know. You just don't really expect to see it happen this year. Or, sorry, not this year, this off-season. Don't expect that. But they will definitely be getting paid. At least sometime in the next year, they will be getting paid.
Yeah. And before we continue,
Wait,
Derek,
I
you
don't
can
think
go
I
back.
said.
What?
I don't think I
Go
said
ahead.
Seider's contract. I think I left that out.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, I got lost in my rant. I got lost in the sauce. I really feel like Seider it's going to start with a 9. I really do. You never know. GMs kind of build the team where it's like they point to their best player, which in this case it's Dylan Larkin, and they say no one's making more than this player. I feel like that's not the case here. I feel like Seider's number is going to start at a 9. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a 9.5. It's kind of ironic. You look at Darnell Nurse's contract. He's not worth that money at all. Seider is worth that money. So it could look like that. That's a good comparison. Sorry, I'll let you go, Derek. I realize I forgot that.
Hey, buddy, get your rant out. We need it all, so it's okay.
Before you go, Derek, I do have an announcement to make, and this is going to hurt us a little bit, especially since we're going to go and talk about division standings next. The Senators have signed Vladimir Tarasenko to a 1-year, $5 million contract. So keep that in mind.
Did this just happen?
This just happened.
Wow.
Breaking
Okay.
news, everybody. You're welcome. Well,
I mean,
guess who's
I'm
still
not
out
personally
there?
scared by that. I don't care about them.
So
He has like half a shoulder now, so have fun.
Yeah, good luck to them. Go ahead, Derek. What do you think about Lucas Raymond and Mo Seider? You think they get signed this offseason into the season, or wait until next offseason?
Well, I'd 100% agree with Leslie on this one that Mo Seider and Raymond both want to be signed next season after their contracts are up. because obviously you want to show what you can do. You want to prove that you're worth that $9 million plus for Seider and probably at least $7 million for Raymond. But on the off end, Yzerman's probably over here like, let's sign this year. And knowing him, Stevie's little plan here, he's going to sign him for 5 years, 4 years, 5 years at the most. And that's probably what he would want most at a smaller deal. That way he gets them up to their and into their prime. And then he can negotiate that contract again coming through the end of those years. Obviously, at that point, if they're still doing what we expect them to do, Seider throwing up over half a point a season as a defenseman, just destroying the league at that 6'4" giant, and Raymond throwing up 80-plus points, yeah, you're going to be worth a lot more money for a longer period of time, and you'll get that 8-year, 7-year contract. But at this point, I feel like Steve is probably going to try, like I'm saying, try to get them, at least one of them. If any one of them, I would say Seider is the main one he wants to sign this season, just because we need that, like Leslie was saying, that franchise defenseman. And Seider is going to be that guy for us. Like,
He already is.
yeah, you're right, he is. And at that point, you're going to be worth money. And I feel like even if Yzerman tries to go with that 5-year plan, still make upwards of $6.5–7 million, maybe even 7.5. I would offer for 5 years. And if I was an agent for Seider, I'd be like, yeah, that's pretty good. That's a short-term deal. You're a defenseman. You're 22 years old. And if you just prove yourself in the long run, you're going to make so much more for a lot longer of a period of time with the same team. And it's going to be perfect for you. So I feel like in that way, it's going to be a win-win. Again, obviously, they both want to wait till next year, get those big long-term deals, which I will not be opposed. I will pay Seider as long as he does what he does this season and next season a little bit up. $9+ million for 7-8 years. Done. I'd do it. Cap's going up, like Leslie said, so it's going to be enough money in the budget to actually do that for him. And we have a couple other guys on the back burner, but those are, at this point, 2 years away, 3 years away, so we got time for the cap to go up even more to sign them again, get them on the team. Raymond, I want to keep him no matter what, so I feel like he's he's top line offenseman players, so what can you really do at that end? And the Red Wings need that. And at 21, he hasn't even hit his prime yet. He's just getting into the stride. You know, sophomore slump, that's fine. You got to do what you got to do. He's going to come back this season, and he's going to blow up. And he knows that. That's why he won't take the deal this season. He's going to wait till his contract comes up after he shows what he can really do. Because obviously it won't be as high net this season, like right now in the free agent, or not free agent, and before the deadline, that it would be if he actually produces the way we think he's going to do next season. So most likely for Seider, I'm hoping this year. Probably won't happen. Raymond, definitely a next year guy.
So, yeah, and I agree. Like, it could go either way with everything that you guys have said so far, right? So, yeah, it's just going to be chaos. I do think that Seider most likely is going to get an 8-year deal. I would be shocked if it's anything less than that, to be honest with you guys. For Raymond, it's a completely different situation, right? I think that if Steve Yzerman came to Seider and said, here's your 8-year deal, it'll kick in next year, it's going to be X amount of dollars, sign it. Okay, yes. Yzerman to Raymond. Hey, I have this contract right here. X term, X amount. Do you want to take this right now? I would imagine Raymond and his agent are saying no. They want to go into this season and prove that Raymond can be a 65-plus point guy. And that's what he needs to be for us, right? So, and I think Yzerman realizes that. And here's what I have pulled up right now. So I want to do a little comparison, right? And this kind of takes us back going into Yzerman's first tenure as a general manager for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, for comparison's sake, let's go ahead and pull up Victor Hedman, right? So, Yzerman became the general manager for Tampa Bay back in 2010, okay? They already had Victor Hedman, okay? Or that's when I think Yzerman drafted him. I can't remember. So, anyways, so you have Victor Hedman for those first 3 years on his entry level contract, right? Okay, no big deal. What does Steve Yzerman do? Signs him to a 5-year deal, $20 million deal, so $4 million each year. And then gives him his 8-year deal after that. Now, you want to go back and look at the numbers for Victor Hedman? Okay, his very first season, 20 points. Second season, 26. Third season, 23. Gets $4 million, right? Then the following season, 55 points. 38 points in 59 games. 47 points. 72. 63. Then he gets the 8-year deal. So actually, before I say this, let's go ahead and talk about another comparable, I guess, for Lucas Raymond that matches this is Nikita Kucherov. Okay, Nikita Kucherov does his 3-year entry or his 3-year entry level contract technically, but he got to play for 4 years. What the 1 year, his first year was an entry level slide, so same as Moritz Seider's. But Yzerman only signed him to a 3-year contract from 2016 to 2019 for $4.7 million. And then now he has his 8-year deal. So it's, and Kucherov, when he came in, 2013-14, 18 points in 52 games. Then he skyrockets, 65 points in 82 games, 66 and 77, 85 and 74. And then he goes off and starts being a 100-point player. Yzerman is not afraid to say, I will give you contracts with decent amount on them, with decent term, but it's not going to be the 8 years. So I'm starting to see a pattern with Yzerman, and he didn't do this with Larkin, right? That was already Ken Holland, where Ken Holland was like, I don't want to give you an 8-year deal yet. I want to give you 6, right? So, and for those of you that might think that, or whoever it was, I'm not saying that you, the viewers, are out there thinking that Yzerman was trying not to give Larkin 8 years, because I think that's completely false. I think he wanted him locked up for 8 years because there's nothing more for him to really prove. Yzerman knew that he had been on a really bad team for a long time, and all he needed to do was put him with better players, right? And so comparing all these contracts together and the players, both of these players, Raymond and Seider, in their entry-level deals have outperformed Nikita Kucherov and Victor Hedman. Look at them now as players. Steve Yzerman told them, show me that you can earn this, that you deserve and you earn this money. I don't think it's crazy that we might see this with Seider and Raymond as well. Especially even though the cap is going up, you continuously need this cap revolving around for this team. If you can get Moritz Seider for under $7.5 million for 4 years, that's still a lot of money, kind of like what Derek said. I think he would be happy to sign that. And then within those 4 years, you're going to be what? How old is he? 22, 23? You'll be 27? There's your 8 years. 22. Yeah, there's your 8-year deal. That'll take you until you're 34 years old if you signed a 4-year deal. And that's going to be $10+ million at that point because the cap keeps on going up. Same thing with Lucas Raymond. Honestly, though, I do think Lucas Raymond, it's going to be anywhere from a bridge deal, so not 1-year deal. I think it'll be 2 years. It's going to be anywhere between 2 and 4 years as well with him. I really do think that. And if you can get him for around $5 million, these contracts that I'm talking about does nothing other than help the player, but it also helps the team. We don't want to put ourselves in the same situation that Toronto Maple Leafs are in, right? Where you're just throwing money to players because they're like, oh, I'm good. Just give me this money. This is business. Yes, it is business, but it's business for everyone else too, and like you have to be a part of the team, right? So you'll get your payday, but we need the cap to keep going up as well. So if you guys can hold off for another 4 to 5 years, and if you let us build around you guys with more ELCs from the Nate Danielsons, the Marco Caspers, the ASPs, the Wallanders, if you guys can allow us to do that, Edvinson, I almost forgot him. That helps out the team so much, and that helps you out so much too going into playoffs. Because you just, right? Like, that's one of the biggest things is that how many teams can actually go into the trade deadline and have more than $8 million going into the trade deadline? There's so many players you could get, especially when you could ask the other team to retain 50% or even 25%. And so that's where I stand. So, okay, my answer would be, if I were Steve Yzerman and I'm looking at Mo Seider, I'm asking him 4 to 6 years. All right, this is what I'm offering you. It's 4 to 6 years, and it's in the range from $7 to $8.25 million. And then for Raymond, I guess I'm looking at him and I'm saying, okay, it's either going to be 2 to 4 years, and then I'm going to offer you $5 to $6 million. I mean, you can even look at the Red Wings cap situation for next season. I'm pretty sure that they have $33 million that they can utilize for next season. And they have how many spots that they have to fill? 1, 2, 3, 4 UFA spots that they will have to fill, and then 5 RFA spots that they have to fill. And 2 of those come from Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider and Jonathan Bergeron. And then they have to sign Jonathan Bergeron as well, too. Why don't we just throw him in there as well? Just for the shits and giggles of it. Would you guys extend Jonathan Bergeron right now? Or is this a player that you want to wait and see how he can do this season? Regardless, I think that his contract will not be that much unless he just booms out of nowhere and just becomes a 70-point player. Then at that case, I'm like, okay, you're locking him up to a 5x5 or a 5x6, 5 years, $6 million at that point. But it'll be a sophomore year, so is he going to have a slump? So what would you guys do with Jonathan Bergeron as well?
Well, I'm actually... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Okay.
All right, so I'll go ahead then.
There we go.
I'm kind of happy that you brought Bergeron up. I kind of forgot about him. I actually think out of the 3 of them, it would make the most sense to sign him right now. Because, he hasn't even played a full season in the NHL yet. I think it would be really smart to lock him up on a team-friendly deal right now. But, with that being said, I think that is a smart move of all 3 of them right now. I mean, look at what Fitzgerald signed Jack Hughes to after his rookie year. Look at the deal that Cale Makar is on. Those are GMs that bet on their players early, betting that they would be the superstars that they knew they could be, and now they are unequivocally superstars. I think that's a good idea to do, at least with Seider. Maybe you could do it with Raymond. But me personally, I think if you're pitching Raymond and Seider deals that are 4 to 5 years in term and whatever the money is, that's probably a good beginning offer, but I really don't personally think either one of them are going to take those deals. I mean, you can sign those guys to 7-8 year deals right now. Seider is 22, Raymond is 21. They finish those deals, and it takes them really in through their prime. I mean, maybe they're just exiting it on the end of these contracts, and then after those contracts are up, sign them until they're 35. Then maybe they get the 5-year deal then. But I really I hear your arguments. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a bad move to offer them 5-6 shorter term deals. With the Hedman example, that's interesting. I didn't even know that was what he did with Hedman, so that's definitely interesting. But I think we can all agree that Seider right now is better than Hedman in his first couple of seasons. So I think if I'm Seider's agent, I'm not going to accept that, which, funny enough, his agent is Claude Lemieux. That doesn't really have anything to do with anything. It's just a funny thing to remember, and I also kind of hate that. Just sign a CAA like everybody else does, you freak. But, yeah, I think maybe a 7-8 year deal might be the best thing to do right now. Get them on a team-friendly deal before they pop off, because we're sitting here talking about next season. We would like to see Raymond in the 60 to 65 point range, maybe a little more than that. We want Seider to get back to his rookie season numbers, maybe even a little bit above that. If we think that's going to happen, let's sign them to a team-friendly deal right now, long term. I think that might be the best move. And then I'm not saying that Raymond will be Jack Hughes. I'm not saying Seider will be Cale Makar. But when they're in those deals and they're getting better and better and better as the team gets more talented, those deals look absolute 1,000 IQ level moves. And I think that's the right way to build the team. It's definitely might be a little outside of what Steve Yzerman might do. Maybe he's indicated with the DeBrincat contract that he would do a shorter-term deal. That's kind of the only thing that makes me think that might happen, which I don't disagree with that. But, yeah, me personally, if I were him, I would do a long-term deal right now. Get them while they're young, get them while they're still hitting their stride, and let them pop off, and then you have all that cap space to sign Bergeron. And when Casper is out of his ELC, you can sign him. When Danielson's out of his ELC, you can sign him. When Edvinsson is out of his ELC, you can sign him. Kosa. I mean, I could keep going. So I think it's a good idea to do it right now. You got your two franchise guys. Get them locked up and just be comfortable in the fact that they're here for 7 to 8 years and they are not leaving.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we're not used to, right, is players staying long-term, right, outside of Larkin. Because you look at the roster, ever since Steve Yzerman's taken over, I'm pretty sure only Larkin and Fabry are the only ones who have stayed since he's taken over the role as general manager. So, yeah, having that security for us fans and their jerseys, you know, we want them here long term. That's obviously what we're trying to get at. But thinking about it in the mind of Steve Yzerman too, I mean, and that's why I pulled up those examples, right? The Nikita Kucherov, the Victor Hedman. Like, he didn't just give them 8 years right away. So it's going to be very interesting, you know, in terms of what the contract is going to look like. But I think we're all in agreement that both players won't be signing until next offseason. Am I understanding this correctly? Because I think that's what's going to happen. I think Yzerman probably is trying to sign Seider right now, and Seider's saying, no, I want one more season. But I do think that's maybe it's the same case for Raymond, but I think Raymond truly just wants to wait as well. So are we all in agreement on that? Pretty much.
I'd say that's what's going to happen, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless Yzerman was offering them something that, like, they just can't refuse, I would say, yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see in a smart way what Stevie wants is going to be the short, but what the other two players want is definitely going to be the long term. Even though if they took the short term, they could also get more when our team's amazing, and because of the cap going up nonstop after 4 to 5 years, they would be making probably more together than what they would make for the last 5 years combined. So it's a back and forth deal, so it really has to be down to their agents, what they want to do, what they think is worth, and what Stevie thinks they're worth at this present time. So hopefully it goes in the Red Wings' favor. And hopefully it goes in the players' favor too. Because I want to keep these boys for long term, and hopefully it works out for both sides. That's all I hope for.
No matter what, they're both going to make a lot of money. So so just be a little friendly with us, Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider. Stay for a while and just keep breaking in the cha-ching. So, all right, I think we're good on that. So let's go ahead and jump into the next topic. Let's talk about division standings. I wish I had like a table made. I probably should have done that before the recording, but that's okay. We'll just speak about it. So that was also on the community tab where I asked everyone where they thought that the Red Wings would finish. I think majority vote was that they would finish 4th, but I didn't ask if that was a potential playoff spot, even if they did finish 4th. So if everyone can pull up, obviously, the Atlantic Division while we speak about this, so that we know what teams we're saying, but let's talk about that, right? So who do you guys think are going to be in the top 3 of the Atlantic Division? And for me, I think it's Toronto's going to be at the top again because they just like being good in the regular season and score a bunch of goals, but they can't show up during the playoffs. I then think it's going to be the Florida Panthers at number 2. I think that they're just going to ride out what they had last season, but it's all going to come down on Bobrovsky or Spencer Knight, whoever that they have in net. They lost a lot of key pieces, like a Radko Gudas. That was a big piece for them. And then for 3, oh boy. I really want to say Tampa, but eventually things just happen, injuries, cold streaks. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say Montreal. I'm just kidding. No, not Montreal.
What the fuck just happened?
Excuse me?
Not Montreal, no.
Pardon-moi?
I don't know. For me, I guess it would be between Tampa Bay and it probably would be Buffalo Sabres. So I'm just going to say the hot take here, and I'm just going to say the Buffalo Sabres. I think maybe they can ride out the hot streak that they had last season. Tage Thompson, everyone
Stole my
out.
hot take.
Is Tage Thompson going to lead them to victory this year?
Their goaltending is what scares me, right? And they have a lot of young defensemen back there. Yes, they have a Dahlin, they have an Owen Power, and they have a couple other pieces. However, that part really scares me, especially when we're now in a league that is continuously, every game that you watch, it seems like it's 6+ goals, right? So you have to have good defense and you have to have good goaltending. You can't just keep scoring. You can't beat Toronto every single game, right? Where you're putting up 6 goals yourself every single game. So that's my top 3. What do you guys think about the top? Or give me your top 3s, I guess.
Well, mine would probably be very similar to yours, Zach. I definitely have Toronto still staying up there. I'm going to peg them for... I'm going to put them as number 1 next year in the Atlantic, just because I feel like you said, they're able to pretty much produce during the off-season. Not the off-season, during the actual season itself. They always obviously fail in playoffs, but that doesn't matter too much. Toronto will probably be up top there. I see, number 2 is where I'm kind of back and forth on. I don't think Florida's going to ride it that hard. I think Florida's going to be coming in at number 3 next year. And I say it's going to be a battle between Tampa Bay and probably Boston again, because I don't think Boston's going to cripple as bad as a lot of people think. Obviously, you're going to have the best season ever to happen in the NHL. I don't think it's going to dwindle away that bad to the fact that you're not going to make the top 3 in your division again. So I'm going to say for the top 3, one's going to be Toronto. Boston's going to get knocked down to number 2, but still be a good team. And then we'll see Florida riding in at 3. And hopefully, like Zach said, the fan favorite for number 4 is hopefully Detroit rolling in there. I don't think we're going to... We might be the Florida of next year. I won't be upset with that. But I don't think we'll make it too far. More like, the Winnipeg Jets in this scenario. We'll get there. It'll look pretty, but we're not going to finish anywhere where we want to be. But we'll be in the playoffs. That's all that matters. Get that streak back going, guys.
So you are saying that if we hit the 4th spot, then we would make the playoffs in a wild card position?
I think we get lucky and something happens like how Florida got in with frickin' Chicago. Obviously this year might be a little different. If Chicago does have Bedard and... Who else did they just get? Who was that? From New
Oliver
Jersey,
Moore?
I believe.
Oh.
No. Yeah, they got Oliver Moore too. That's another thing. But who was the guy they signed or traded? No, I think they signed.
Taylor Hall?
Yeah, they got Taylor Hall. I say they are going from last place in every division, just being in the NHL is last, to making the top 10 pretty quickly. Especially if you toss all those 3 right in a row. So I don't even care about them, but we'll see what happens with that.
All right, Matt. Let's hear your top 3, bud.
I do think with our team. Go, Matt.
Oh my God, you guys are gonna hate me for this one, but here it goes. I personally have Florida finishing 1st in this division and Toronto 2nd. But I think it's literally going to be a difference of like 2 to 3 points, dude. Like it's
Yeah.
it's going to be so close. I might as well be tied for first. Like that's what I personally believe. Number 3. Sorry, let me go back to this. Number 3, I really feel like the Bruins are going to get worse, but they're not going to get that much worse. They still have Pasternak. They still have McAvoy. They still have other people on that team. They are still frauds, I will say that. I needed to get that in there. They're frauds. They'll be number 3, but they won't win anything because they suck. They're a terrible organization, and I hate them. And at number 4, I'm going to go with Buffalo. I think Buffalo is going to get to number 4. They're going to be in the wild card. It'll be their first time in the playoffs in like a bajillion years. And I'm not going to go into my insult stat. I was going to, but I stopped myself. I won't say it. I'll say it off here for you guys. At number 5, oh, this is a tough one.
Oh, Matt's going.
I do want to put Detroit above.
You can.
Derek went full deep.
No, just say your whole thing because I stopped at 3. Just keep going, bud.
Yeah.
Keep rolling.
Yeah, at number 5, I really want to put the Red Wings at number 5. I don't know if I can put them above Tampa just yet, though. Like, Tampa still is Tampa, but they're getting older. I think the window is gone. I guess in this ranking, they're going to miss the playoffs. So, there you go. Number 6, I have Detroit. It'll be one spot better than last year, so that's improvement. Number 7, I have Montreal. And only I have Montreal because I hate the Senators, so I have them at 8. It's probably not going to happen. That is insane. But I will be damned if I say anything positive about the Senators on this podcast. It will literally never happen. So they'll be 8. They'll probably finish with, like, I don't know, 20 points. And Dorian will be fired, which will be 5 years too late, probably. But, hey, it's all good, guys, because the rebuild's over, right? It's totally over. Rebuild is done.
Rebuild is over.
Honestly, the Senators might finish 9th, and we'll just have an expansion team coming halfway through the season, and they'll finish below that team. So they'll be 9th. Yeah, so those are my rankings.
So, all right. So I guess I'll do the rest of mine. So at 4, what did I say? So I said Toronto, Florida, Buffalo, and I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I think it's gonna be Boston at 4. I think that. Yeah, they're the first wild card team, and you look at the I think it's the Metro, right? The other Eastern or division, it's the Metro. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Metro.
The Metro just is getting worse. It's not really getting any better. The Atlantic just, I mean, we're in that weird transitional period, right? Where like teams like us, the Red Wings, the Senators, the Buffalo Sabres, they're up. But then these other teams, the Bostons, the Tampas, they're starting to come back down to earth, right? And Florida barely squeaked in. I mean, we saw how tight of a race it was, and it all came down to the Pittsburgh Penguins fucking it up for everyone, giving Chicago Connor Bedard. Jesus. That's my one swear word for the episode today. So I think I have Boston at 4. I'm going to put... This is my other hot take. I'm definitely going to put the Red Wings. Honestly, no. Shoot. Okay. Now I'm really stuck here. And I don't want people to hate me when I say this. Like, I'm just really trying to figure out, is it really going to be the Red Wings or is it going to be the Sabres? Because I do think that eventually Tampa has to have, like, that down year. Much like how we kept on saying it for Boston. So that's me being optimistic, but also being pessimistic a little bit, I guess. So however you want to view it. So shoot, I just got to pick a team. Pick one, Zach. Come on. Fuck it. I'm picking the Red Wings for 5, and then we're gonna be the second wild card spot because it's gonna be that tight of a race. I'm picking the Red Wings for 5.
It's really not crazy,
right? No, it's not. I mean, we have, and people outside of Red Wings fandom, they can rip on us all they want. But one thing that we have that a lot of teams don't have is depth, right? Like, you can make fun of us saying that we have a bunch of third liners on our team outside of our top line and our top pairing. People even still question Jake Wallman. But I will say this. you won't be laughing when we're the next Seattle Kraken, basically, at that point, where you're making it into the second round of the
Thank you.
playoffs.
That's all I was about to say
Yes,
at
sir.
that point right there. Fucking Seattle Kraken. All right, cussed again. Bye.
And Eiserman knows exactly what he's doing, and he's doing that. Like, before the offseason and the free agent signings and then the trade for Alex DeBrincat, we were sitting here saying, like, we don't want to be the next Carolina Hurricanes who play just all defense, right? Or even, like, sorry, Matt, but the Islanders, too, where they don't have a lot of scoring, but they have good goaltending and they have
It's okay,
solid
they suck.
defense. So,
Don't even
but
worry
if
about it. They
that-
suck.
But if that's what you have to do to make it into the playoffs, yeah, do it, okay? And that's fine, because we already have the prospect pool that we need, right? And just let these players develop at their own pace, let them win in the Grand Rapids Griffins organization, and start putting yourself in playoff positions. And I do think that, and it's going to come down literally to 1 point, I think. And mark this right now. I'm saying this right now. The Red Wings will somehow sneak in with 1 point, just like the Florida Panthers did, from either 1 or 2 games happening because someone else decided to play spoiler and helped us get in there somehow, some way. At number 6, I have the Sens, just barely behind us. Somehow we beat them. I think I don't think that Kubalik will be as good for them as their fans seem to think that he will be. Could he get 30 goals? Sure, but you better put him up with someone who could help him out defensively, right? Because he's not someone who ever played PK,
Big
not
time.
someone who ever backchecked. He's not a 200-foot player, really. He knows how to score goals. He really does. So if you can get 25 goals, great. All for you. And I know that I just said that you guys got Vladimir Tarasenko, but just like Matt said, one touch on his shoulder, that dude's out for the rest of the season. That guy cannot stay healthy to save his life. And $5 million. Okay. Okay.
Well, I guess that's why it's a 1-year deal.
1 year deal, right? Yes. So, I don't know. So that's what I have Ottawa at, and then, yeah, I think this is where Tampa just kind of shits the bed a little bit and goes 7th, and then there you go. You have Montreal at 8. To be honest with you, Derek, you wanna go ahead and give the rest of your standings there, bud? Just start with your top 3 again, and then go down.
Yeah, I think I went with Toronto, Florida, and then I threw Boston in there at 3 just because, unlike everybody else, I did not think they're going to collapse that hard. And then right after that was my 4th at Detroit. So we have 4, 5, and 6 with us. So we have a nice broad gap here for us all to be, one of us to be right. Then underneath us at 5, I'm throwing in Tampa Bay. Like everybody said, they're getting old. What can you do about it? Age is a thing that none of us can stop, no matter how much money you throw at it. And then I'm going to bring in, I would have to say, at 6. I'm going with Buffalo. And then we got Montreal at 7 and Ottawa at 8. Because I feel the same way as Leslie does. If y'all can see
Hell yeah!
if you can see his name on our screens right now, you probably agree with it too. So, what can I say? Ottawa, you're losing everything. Have fun down there. Kubalik, all the best for you, buddy, but we sent you to a losing team. I don't know what to say.
All right. I like it. All right. So we all had the Red Wings making the playoffs. No shock there. We obviously are a Red Wings podcast, so that's great. Clearly, my co-hosts have a beautiful love-hate relationship with the Ottawa Senators. And they're gladly putting it out there, so that's what we're here for, you know. It's all good. But, yeah, none of us really, I mean, outside of me, you guys, I'm kind of shocked that you guys aren't really riding with the Buffalo Sabres a little bit more there,
I
to
had
be
them at
honest.
4.
Oh, okay, you did. Sorry, I can't remember. It's a lot.
I did not.
Yeah, okay.
I'm hoping Dave just drops off the face of the earth here, or gets traded to us. I don't care which one happens, but one of those two, I'll be happy.
So then, all right, I think that we're good on the division standing predictions there, and then we can kind of rediscuss that once it gets closer to the start of the season. You know, you'll have injuries, with training camp, stuff like that. Players going missing into player assistance programs or something. R.I.P. Verana. Please don't score on us when you play us, please. Let's go ahead and discuss Matt's little topic that he wanted to discuss was the I can't remember what the title of it was, Matt, but I'll just call it the NHL draft behind the scenes video that the NHL YouTube channel uploaded.
It was like Road to the NHL or Journey to the NHL, something like that. I don't remember, but you go to the NHL YouTube page and it's probably featured on there. It only came out like a couple days ago, but yeah, it was a really interesting video. It was just a nice little kind of like behind the scenes, peeling back the curtain on how teams kind of strategize with the draft lottery and what prospects they see as the best fit for their team. You definitely kind of felt like the secondhand anxiety again going through that little draft lottery, that like little segment, which I didn't want to relive that because we all know how that ended and we're not happy about it. But even with that, it was just cool to kind of see. They didn't obviously go through all the prospects because that would probably be a 4-hour video, but there was a good amount of them. Like most of the top guys were in there, like Will Smith, Bedard, Fantilli was in there a bit. So it was really cool to kind of see, like number one, like their family life, how many people they have there. Like I think Fantilli had like 100 people there supporting him, like his family, his coaches, teachers.
They were all sitting behind me in the stands. They were loud people, but they were.
Oh really?
They were great.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, that was really cool to see how much support they have, and then, with a lot of these guys, they've played in juniors together on like Team Canada, Team USA. You got the development program guys. They were focusing on Oliver Moore it kind of felt like they focused on him a lot, and when Augustine got picked, he kind of like jumped up and was like, "Oh heck yeah, that's my bro right there." Augustine got drafted. Like it was just kind of cool to see them get pumped up for their teammates. And there was also a funny part where Oliver Moore was like, after Bedard got drafted, he was like, "Oh my God, he's gonna be a Blackhawk. That's so cool. Man, I really can't wait to play against him." And then come to find out he's going to play with him, literally with him in training camp, and well, also in his career too. So that was pretty funny to see. And yeah, it was just a cool kind of behind the scenes look. It's the exact type of content that the NHL needs in the off season. We need more of this. Like every week, ideally, we should get more of this. Like, we all love Hard Knocks. I don't know if you guys watch it, but I love Hard Knocks. That's kind of a little documentary they do on HBO. For those of you who don't know, and they focus on one team a season in training camp. It's a really cool show. You get to see like the whole like personal life of the players. Really, like a lot of the guys who are drafted and trying to make the team. You get invested with them personally. I really feel like the NHL needs this. They really, really need to do something like this. It could just be, it could be a carbon copy of Hard Knocks. I don't even care what it looks like. You could just go through one team, do a behind-the-scenes look. I guarantee you people are going to watch it, and they're going to be like, "Oh man, I really want whatever, Casper to make the team, Edvinsson to make the team. I love that guy." It doesn't have to be the Red Wings. I'm just using them as an example. But I think it would be wildly popular if they could do something like this. So I know that won't ever happen because this is the NHL we're talking about. It's a sad truth. But I personally would love it if we could get something like this. It was really exactly what we needed because this offseason drags on and on and on, dude. It really drags on. I feel like the finals were a year ago. And it was only probably not even 2 months ago. Like it really drags on. So we really need the NHL to keep NHL content fresh in the off season.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be quick on the video. I like the video. I think it was great representation on the players and like what goes into the draft. You know, their feelings, their family, what's going on, a little bit like background about them. You're just how you brought up, how GMs prepare for the draft lottery. I did like that, but I wish that they did it more I just wish they showed a little bit more, right? Like the preparation that each team does, right? I wish that they did something like that, or like I wish that they had cameras at the draft table so that way we can hear exactly like the sounds and noises of like what happens at a draft table. You know, I really wish that the NHL could implement that, but I understand that some GMs just like to keep secrets to themselves, and organizations don't like to put themselves out there like that. They don't like the attention, but they also get interviewed as soon as they make their picks. And so, but that's one thing that I wish that they did. But a good looks on the NHL for actually doing that. But yeah, Matt, you're right. It was only just a month ago, and it feels like that it was 6 months ago. Honestly, time is flying by pretty slow, but at the same time, very quickly. But in terms of being an NHL fan, yeah, is it October yet? For real. Derek, what do you think of the video? You just finished it.
I did. Right before this podcast, I was happy I did because, holy crap, it took me a while. I didn't realize it was 50 minutes. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I got a lot to watch here. I finished it. But, I mean, it was a good piece. I like being able to see the background of all the players. It's really weird seeing them up close and personal like that, especially at our age, because I'm like, oh, I could do that. I was like, oh, wait, I should have did that, like, 15 years ago. Crap, I'm old. I'm apparently in the prime of where the NHL is supposed to be right now. Not there, guys, and I'm not there. Woo! But, I mean, it's a good video to watch that entire, like, just, like, the anticipation, the suspense of what they all had to go through. Like, if I was Connor Bedard up there, I probably wouldn't sweating through my suit. I'm like, give me all black, please. Like, I believe, who was it? Was it Leo Carlson? Or... So, might have been Will Smith. Someone wore all straight black up there, and I was like, that's a good choice. They can't see
Yeah.
me sweat. Fantastic. But, I mean, like Leslie said, I recommend that piece. It's a pretty good little watch. I sat there for 48 minutes straight watching it while my girlfriend stared at me with piercing eyes because I wasn't paying any attention to her, and I was like, sorry, someone else caught my attention today. Worth
Sorry,
it.
Sarah.
I'd say everyone go watch it.
I'm not so sure that was worth it, actually. I may not be.
Straight over here afterwards, so we'll see.
She's still your girlfriend, right? So it's all good. Oh well.
Hasn't broke up with me yet.
There we go. All right. Well, yeah, no, I recommend the video as well. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's literally on NHL's YouTube channel. They've also posted videos of every team's goals throughout the season. If you guys haven't watched the Red Wings one, just put it on for background noise. Just revisit some of the goals that they had. You know, it was very enjoyable to see some of the goals that Moritz Seider had because he had some pretty fantastic goals this season that I definitely forgot. Like there was one really good backhander that went top shelf. A couple other ones, you know, and like I said, Joe Veleno, seeing some of his goals. Jonathan Bergeron, seeing some of the plays that he developed too. I mean, going back talking about him, it was great. But yeah, no, go check those out. But also, go and check out our old episodes if you guys want to. That gives us more views, and it gives us more watch time hours. That way, YouTube can actually start paying us instead of us paying to do this. I digress, though. But other than that, I think that's about it. So why don't we go ahead and wrap it up, boys? It was a good episode. Let's go ahead and get into our final thoughts. One at a time. Someone go.
I mean, it was a lot of content today. It's been a few weeks almost since we did our last one, so we appreciate y'all for making it to the very end here. Obviously, a lot of content there, but hey, that's what we got for right now. There's not too much happening, but everything's looking good for the Red Wings. I'm still saying we get that little wild card making the playoffs next year, so fingers crossed, boys. Let's go Red Wings. Hopefully my predictions can come true and we can smack Toronto out of first place again. I'd love to see that.
Matthew? Final thoughts?
I forgot my final thoughts. I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be here again, and looking forward to new future episodes. Yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say. I got lost in the sauce again. Let's go Red Wings.
All right. I like it. All right. Yeah, mine's going to be short and sweet, too. Yeah, let's go Red Wings. Let's let's get a wild card spot in there. If not, let's make it in the top 3 somehow. Hopefully the whole entire Atlantic Division just gets the injury bug, whatever it takes, you know. Like I said, we got depth finally. It's a great change of pace for once. Mo Seider, Lucas Raymond, sign your contracts so we have content to go over and discuss more about you guys. And, you know, I thought that those were really good comparables. If you guys want to go ahead and check those out, as I was seeing them, just utilize Cap Friendly. Just go to the Red Wings roster and Tampa Bay's roster. And, yeah. That's it. Go Red Wings. So let's go ahead and wrap it up from there. As a reminder, we want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button. Holy shoot. Wow, that was a stutter if I ever stuttered before. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're hitting that thumb button so that the frown turns upside down. We appreciate y'all for making it to the end of this video if you didn't make it this far. So yeah. Thank you once again, and we'll see y'all in the next episode in a week. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye.